You mentioned Kristaps Porzingis, and he, of course, was probably the player everyone wanted to see the most tonight. As I watch our colleague Ben Rohrback walk away from a distance.
Hey,
Bye,
Ben.
Keep doing your thing, buddy. And the Celtics kept saying, keep doing your thing, buddy, to Kristaps Porzingis. It was really ironic to me. And I wrote about it last week. Or I guess not last week, this week. The days.
They're all melting together, man.
They're all melting together. But it's I don't think it's like an overstated aspect of Porzingis' tenure in Dallas, where the rift of him wanting post touches and Rick Carlisle coming out publicly and discussing how it just was a mathematically inefficient piece of Dallas's historic offense. And then this year, he puts up one of the most historical efficient performances in post-ups in league history with 1.3 points per possession there. And he's just switching. I mean, I thought about this in Manila, and I thought about this tonight during the World Cup, where so much of NBA offense for hunting switches is to get a guard to dance with a big out in the perimeter. But Boston is like the one team that I've really seen so consistently that reverses that.
Yeah.
And they try to just have Kristaps Porzingis just dominate Jaden Hardy on the left elbow. And his start was incredible. The final stat line's not going to show exactly what he did. I mean, he had 18 points in the first half, was 4 or 5 from three. And the blocks also are like, he's only credited with 3 blocks. He had at least 5 to my count. And there's plenty that he just deterred players from taking. That one of the travels you were talking about, Dan, was Kyrie. He kind of came across the lane. He was going to lean into a fade, and like there was KP. And he did everything that he was brought here to do. That's just the summation of all the preamble there.
Yeah, Jason Tatum during his on-court interview with Lisa Salters after the game, she's asked what was it like to have him back? And Tatum just had this huge smile on his face. It was like, it's really good to have him back. You saw it's every person who had to do jobs like ours and talk about things and write about things was like X Factor, Kristaps Porzingis. And I'm sure that if you were a fan just listening to consuming all this stuff, you were like, talk about somebody else. I'm kind of sick of everybody talking about how he's this important swing factor. And then in like a 5-minute stretch in the first quarter when he comes off the bench, which by the way, only the second time in his career, I believe, came off the bench. First time in 7.5 years,
second time
he came off the bench. Maybe they run that back in game 2 because he was able to catch his rhythm pretty quickly and gave the Boston offense a nice jolt when he came in with the second unit. The floor spacing, the way they can attack and pick and roll, as you mentioned, to generate those switches, his comfort level. That's the thing. Like Rick Carlisle wasn't wrong at the time because Kristaps Porzingis wasn't that good at doing this at the time. He got stronger. His base is stronger. His legs are stronger. He's more comfortable fighting in a phone booth there and understanding the physicality that he's got to play with just to be able to go over the top. He's facing up on Josh Green. He's facing up on Jaden Hardy. He's facing up on Kyrie. He's facing up on Luka. He's going at those guys and saying, if I just go up over the top, I like pivot, I sweep through, I get my shoulder into you, I create space. You can't do anything with me up here. Like you're not bothering the release. So then it's just a matter of do I make or miss the shot? He got a couple of free throws early. He got the first jumper to go down and he was off to the races from there. And yeah, you see like there's many reasons for it, but the impact of having another center who is a good defensive player, who's a really good rim protector, and who you feel comfortable-ish with him out on switches, especially when Boston is playing their 2 bigs. Like if you had him switched out onto Luka, Luka was hunting every opportunity he got. He was hunting the bigs that he wanted to try to go at. He was poking at Sam Hauser. He was poking at Peyton Pritchard, any opportunity that he had. But when you've got the second big back there, if it's KP out in deep water, but Al Horford's at the rim, there's still a rim protector back there. There's still somebody to contest the lob, which, by the way, the lob was like gone from the Dallas offense. I mentioned Derek Lively in foul trouble. Some of it was that Lively was in foul trouble, but a lot of it was just like Boston erased Daniel Gafford. Jason Tatum, part of his quiet, but also good, but also not that great, but also this is kind of what we've been getting from Jason Tatum all postseason game was he's your 6'10" all NBA wing creator is guarding their center. every possession. And there's just no physical mismatch there. And he can switch on those screens. And all of a sudden, you got to find another way to attack. Like Boston they were locked in and they were ready across the board to take Dallas out of what it wanted to do and to say, all right, if you want to beat us, it's going to be Luka Doncic scoring 50. That's all you're getting is Luka one-on-one.
Mostly too.
Yeah, yes, exactly. He got to the step back a few times, but it's going to be, you're going to have to take tough mid-range shots over and over and over again. And if you make those, we'll deal with it. We're going to get up 43s, and we don't think that we're going to win the math battle there. And so I mean, that's the terms of engagement that Boston wants to play on. It's what made them the best team in the NBA all season. And game one, they got that game on their terms, and Dallas was never able to get, with the brief exception of that third quarter. And even within that third quarter, it's all tough twos, a couple of threes, no assists, and just grinding isolation possessions. It's possible for Luka and Kyrie to make enough shots to win that way, but it's really friggin' hard, especially against a defense as versatile, as good, and as deep as Boston's. And now Dallas is going to have to do that 4 times in 6 games, which no one's been able to do to Boston all year.